Hello interwebs, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. I've got an Acer Nitro here. This is a Nitro AN515 and it's got no power. So when I plug in the charger on the side here, make sure we're on shot, plug that in, no response at all, there's no charge light, and I don't think it powers on. No, it's stone dead. I press the power button, nothing happens, so it's stone dead. Let's open it up and have a look. Okay, so I'll disconnect the battery just so that's not providing any interference, and I'm going to plug in the DC jack again, and we're going to get the multimeter and just see how far the power is getting. So with the multimeter in voltage mode, I'm going to stick black probe on ground, and let's just see if there's power getting into the laptop. And there is not. Have we just got a dead short on the DC jack? Have we got a dead TVS diode? I think we might do. I'm going to go over to resistance mode. Black probe on ground, red probe on the DC input. 137K. I'm going to come over and just pot shot check a couple of caps here. This big electrolytic here, this is a 25 volt cap and it's next to GPU vCore. So this is an input cap for the GPU vCore rail. So this is going to be sitting on the laptop's main power rail. So I'll just stick black probe on ground and we'll just check both sides of that. So there's the positive side. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. That's 5.7 ohms. That's bad. That probably means we have a dead CPU. I'm just going to try probing elsewhere. Same result, 5.7. Let's try these guys over here. Same, 5.7. Okay. I'm going to... I think I can just get my probe in underneath this heatsink to get onto... Oh, there's one available here. I want to get onto one of the inductors for CPU vCore, because the inductors are past the VRM. Now, if the inductor is giving me the same resistance, that probably means we have a shorted VRM. Wah, 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 wah. Let's take the CPU cooler off. If I wasn't recording a video, I would throw this in the bin right now. However, let's go a little bit deeper in just to see what's going on, because maybe we can just turn this into an autopsy. However, spoilers, this has got a dead CPU and this is a waste of time. Okay, so now we've got that, now we've got the heatsink off, we can get a better look. We'll just confirm our measurements again. So we'll go back into resistance mode on the old multimeter, and again with a black probe on ground, I've just put my finger into this thermal paste. This goop is some gnarly stuff. So let's just check again. We'll check these inductors. Ah, that's interesting. That's giving us 3.3. So core, vCore is lower. So we're not shorted through vCore, because that's not the resistance we're seeing on the main power rail. This is the one that I previously checked, and that's a 5.7. So it's what this guy is, possibly system agent or something like that. Then we've got another guy up here that is another power rail. That's at 23 ohms, so that again is unaffected. We're seeing a different resistance because these MOSFETs that are creating the VRM are a barrier between the main power rail and there. So whatever this guy is probably shorted. If I were to remove this MOSFET or this inductor, the short circuit should disappear. So I think I will do that. I'm going to warm up the soldering iron and just see if I can just pry up this this inductor. I don't know if we're dead in the water here or not. I think we are, because the problem is that 19 volts has gone through there into the chip, which kills the chip. So I think we're cactus, but let's find out. Right, so we've lifted this inductor now, so that's now floating. And so this has disconnected this CPU rail from the main power rail. And I've just put my finger in the thermal paste again. So let's see if that's made any difference to us at all. So black probe on ground. And let's just check the main power rail. And the main power rail is no longer shorted. So that's confirmed my theory. We were shorted through this VRM here. So there's a good chance this MOSFET is probably dead. It's worth noting that on the heatsink, we've got this section here is covering that row of inductors, and we've got a thermal pad here that covers these 4 MOSFETs. However, there's nothing on this guy here. Now, this is a secondary supply. It's not V-core, but it's possible there's just been a lot of heat around here because this is right next to CPU and all the rest of it. So this guy may have just heat fatigued. And that might be what's happened here. It doesn't really matter too much because I think we're probably toast. I'm curious. I think I know the answer to this question. I think it's no, but I'm really curious as to if we remove this guy, we're going to find it's failed. And I'm wondering if I remove this guy, take off one of the V-core MOSFETs and put it there instead and see if it'll run. I think I'm going to do that. I think more experienced technicians will probably already know the answer to this. However, let's just do some science because I'm trying to get some content here. So just indulge me. Indulge me while I do this. I think I'm going to have to take the motherboard out, which sucks. Yeah, okay, let's just get on with that. Actually, I'll lie. Before we go any further, I'm just going to see what is the behavior if we try and turn this on with that rail disconnected. It's absolutely not going to work, but like, does the laptop power up? Is there any lights or anything at all? Because that kind of tells me what might the problem be, you know. Right, and the answer to that is no, we do not power on. Still, it's stone dead. So the reason why I'm curious as to that is that if I swap around these MOSFETs and we get to the point where the laptop powers up but does not post, even though we haven't fixed it, we know that we have changed the behavior of it, and that tells us things, you know. It doesn't fix the laptop for me, but it tells me things that I know for next time about the behavior of things, because you kind of need to, you know, if you've never actually put some things to the test, then you just don't know, unless you happen to have access to someone who can tell you exactly how that works. And if they know how that works, it's probably because they have already done this test at some point to try it out for themselves. Back of the board kind of looks a little bit darkened. I think there's been a fair bit of heat here, which is normal because it's power system area, but make of that what you will. Right, so let's hot air this guy off. We're going to need to dump some heat into this guy to get it off the board, so here we go. I'm going to try and direct away from the CPU where possible. Right, so I've taken our MOSFET off the board, and we'll just look at this under the microscope just so I can probe it here. This will be a dual MOSFET package. This is our input side, this is our output, and then we've got a low side MOSFET to ground over here. So basically we should not be seeing a dead short circuit here, and we do. So this is a shorted MOSFET. Very well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off another one of these guys. I assume they're the same, actually. So that's GA9V16, 6962. GA9V1G. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they are all the same, as predicted. Good. Okay, so I'm going to take off one of these boys and swap them over and see how we do. Now, there is a possibility that we've got a bad driver. However, if we blow up another MOSFET, that answers that. Not going to lie, I'm kind of playing with this thing at this point. Lost the will to live. Now I'm going to do some curiosity measurements. I'm going to check what the resistance to ground is at the gate pins. I don't know what this should be, so I'm going to check it on a known good. That's 33 kilo ohms and 33 kilo ohms. Now let's go over to the bad section, and I see 33 kilo ohms ish, maybe a bit higher. And on that side, 87 kilo ohms, much higher. That might mean a bad driver. I'm not sure though. I'm just gonna stick this over here and see what happens. Death or glory. So here's our good MOSFET in place. Let's solder this guy back down again. And we'll see what happens. My predictions are either A, the driver is bad and we're going to blow up this MOSFET, or B, the CPU is already dead because it got 19 volts plumbed into it. I know. I'll give a call tomorrow. Just find out, I think. So that's in place. So now we should find that we've got 5.7 volts at the coil here. It's 5.7 ohms, sorry. Oh, interesting. It's gone even lower than that. Don't know what to make of that. And our main power rail is still not shorted because we don't have a broken MOSFET on it anymore. Okay, let's power it on and see what happens. It's probably dead, but we'll see. Right, let's see what happens when we plug this thing in. There's a danger of magic smoke, but so be it. We'll need the keyboard plugged in because the power cable is on there. Everything else I'm going to leave unplugged because we don't need it. Okay. Charger in. It didn't explode. No lights either, though. Power on. It turned on for a moment. It's power cycling. Power LED is still on. It's not going to run, is it? Surely it's not going to work. It must be brain dead. So the reason why I don't think this is going to work is because we've solved the power problems with this laptop. So when we press the power button, the system is seeing power rails come up to the correct levels. So it thinks everything is okay, so the system switches on. But that's not a lot of use if the CPU is brain dead. Just because the CPU powers on doesn't mean it actually works. So the fact that we have fan spin and the power LED is on doesn't actually mean anything at all. Tell you what I could do though. I'm going to plug in a chipmunk and just see if there's anything on the USB port, because that might say a thing or two as well. It doesn't seem to be doing anything at the moment, so I'm just going to power it off and on again and see what happens. Power on. Right, I'm going to give this a couple of minutes just in case it does a hysterically long ram train or something like that. But spoilers, this thing ain't going to start. So I'm going to leave this for a minute or so just in case it comes good, and then I'll get back to you. Right, in a surprise to no one, it hasn't magically completed RAM training and posted. It's still brain dead. There's no activity on the USB port, which is also a bad sign. So as you can see, it's still kill. So the interest point of this video, like I kind of called this in the first minute or two of this video when I saw 5.7 ohms on the main power rail and said, that's a dead CPU. This is what I meant. When you see that low resistance on the main power rail, not a short circuit resistance like less than 1 ohms, but just low resistance, that means you're probably shorted through silicon. And even though we have replaced the shorted MOSFET just with another one from the board, that doesn't change the fact that the CPU is dead. If there was a problem with CPU vCore because we'd stolen a MOSFET from it, then I would expect the laptop to not switch on at all. The fact that it is powered up means that the laptop's power management is satisfied that the power system works. However, the CPU doesn't work. So, as soon as you see that low resistance there, you are probably toast and you should probably stop bothering. On that happy note, thank you for watching, everyone. Sorry content has been a bit slow recently. I've been having rotten luck for repairs lately, where there's been stuff like this that is just rabbit holes, dead ends, or stuff that is not worth making a video about because it's just routine, and I've made countless videos about it already. So thanks for sticking with me anyway, and I shall see you in the next video, whatever that may be. Bye for now.